Hey guys, Nick again, Jemmy here for Thriving Mind Thursday. Today I want to talk with you about how to set healthy boundaries with people, especially in these times, so that you can reduce some of the fear and the overwhelm that's coming up for you. So I think this is a really good topic right now. I don't know about you, but many people I talk to, all they want to do is talk about what's going on with this virus and how scary it is and how much it's impacting the world. And we know that. But I don't know about for you, but for me, talking about it is unproductive. It doesn't help me. And I would love to know, does it help you to talk about it? I'm just curious because we're all very different. And for me personally, being very sensitive, it helps me more to focus on what is good right now, what is still working, and what I can do to move forward. And that's just how I feel. And I would really love to know how you feel, because everybody's different. Some people like to talk about it, but for me, it just brings me down, And I am very intentional about how I feel and my energy, and it's very important to me that I feel good. So much so that when I wake up, before I even let the world in, before I even check emails or look at Facebook, I have a morning practice where I will journal, I will do some tapping, meditating, whatever I want to do to feel good. And then I go on about my day. And then you'll get on a call with someone and they just bring you down, and it's like not where I want to be. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to set healthy boundaries so you could reduce fear and overwhelm, and you can find a little bit of peace and perhaps even a little bit of joy, because it's there in all the small moments. And when I just took a breath for a second just now, I heard the birds chirping outside, and it's like something so little, but it can go unnoticed if you're absent from the present moment. And the present moment always grounds us and brings us back to right here and right now. And odds are, if you're watching this video, right here and right now, you're okay, right? And we only need to be in the moment. If we get too far ahead, that's how we end up spiraling into fear. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick again, Jemmy. I help entrepreneurs reprogram their mind for success so they can make more money and impact doing what they love. And so, how do you set healthy boundaries? This came up because, like I said, it's funny because I've got two different groups of people. I've got some people who mostly are colleagues who, when you talk with them, everything is growth minded and positive, and what opportunities are now surfacing because of these circumstances. And it's a whole different conversation, and it even can end with feeling hopeful and excited and motivated to want to take some actions to move forward, even being very generous of your time and giving back. So that's one set. Then there's another set, and it's people that just want to talk about how things are turning to crap, and how schools are maybe not going to be opening until after the summer, and the stock market, and then what happens is, I think it's natural, we can get caught up in that story and go down the rabbit hole, and like I said, it does nothing good for you health-wise. So I got really curious because I was on the phone the other day with someone, and it was about a 30-minute conversation, and the whole conversation was what's going on right now, and it was all very much fear-based and negative. And prior to getting on the phone call, I was feeling really good. I was feeling motivated. I was coming up with ideas in my business. And then I get on the call, and 30 minutes later, I'm now having anxiety, and I'm like, what just happened? And I got curious, and I'm thinking, what was it that was said to me that initially triggered those feelings. And the comment was that, I heard schools are going to be closing until September. And when I thought about that comment, isolated in and of itself, there's nothing in that comment to spark fear or anxiety. I mean, for me, I don't have children. I'm not a teacher. I used to be until I quit. But that one isolated statement, there was no reason for it to spark fear or anxiety. So I got curious, and this is what I always tell you guys to do. Instead of judging yourself, get curious. What was that about? What was really going on? And the thing that happens is most often when people react on an emotional level, it's almost always not the words that they heard, but it's the meaning they assign to it. It's the internal story that they went into. And this story happens in a matter of not like 3 seconds or less. But when I thought about what meaning did I assign to that statement about schools being closed until September, first of all, who even knows if this is true? We cannot project the future in that way. I don't even think politicians even really know everything what they're talking about. They're just guessing, right? But we can't buy into these things right now. But putting that aside, the story, the meaning that I assigned to that statement was, the quick little story was the job market's going to crap. People are losing their jobs. They're not going to have any money. The people are only looking at what is essential. Things like coaching, which is a luxury to have, that's going to go out the window. Who's going to have money for that? And on and on and on. And that was the story that sparked first it was irritation, and then it was just like almost complacency, like, well, I don't even know, what am I supposed to do? So the answer or the solution is to, number one, get curious when somebody triggers you in some way, and then ask yourself, what did they say that triggered me? And then an even more important question is, what did I hear? What did I make that mean? And I almost want to call this intentional meaning making. We've got to be very intentional in what we decide to make something mean, because a lot of times we don't take things at face value. We take somebody's words, and then, like I said, we assign a meaning to it, and before you know it, you're in the middle of this story that causes this overwhelm and this fear. So get really curious and be intentional about what you make something mean. And you can always turn it around, because you're the creator of your own thoughts. You get to create your reality, and it starts with your thinking. And that's why you can have some conversations with people and things are still good and things are still looking up, and then you talk to other people and everything's gone to crap. And it's like, well, which is right? And it's just a matter of perspective, right? It's just somebody's perspective, and that's all it is. I was talking with a friend, and she said that sometimes she puts herself in this imaginary bubble when dealing with or talking with somebody who's being really negative. And she says silently to herself, that's your experience, not mine. And that's the thing. We don't have to own everybody's stuff. Everybody is dealing with their own stuff inside their mind. You can't change people. You can't get them to think what you believe, right? And you don't have to own everything for you to own. So I'm getting a low connection, so I'm not sure if everything is okay. All right, I think I'm good now. So setting healthy boundaries, one thing, and I noticed I was doing this, is that I was avoiding having conversations with people that I know are negative. And I don't think that's the answer either, to avoid people. People are the way they are. One way to set healthy boundaries is to be transparent And when the conversation is going in a certain way that you know is not healthy for you, right? You just be honest and you just nicely say, let's talk about something else. Or just go and change the subject. So anyway, and go into whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, it's one thing. So be transparent, nicely say how you feel, change the subject. And then another thing you could do is just end the conversation. There's no reason to stay on the phone for 30, 40 minutes, an hour, talking about the same thing over and over again. That's not leading anywhere to a solution. So just end the conversation. All right, it was great catching up with you. Take care, talk with you soon. And that's it, and end the conversation. But in the meantime, when this comes up, you've got to put yourself first and how you feel. It's really important, right? Because you've got family, you've got kids, loved ones, and how are you going to show up for them when you're not at your best, right? So you come first, because when you are feeling good, when you are at your best, you've got more to give to others. So it is important for you and me, for all of us, to have those boundaries. And the most important thing is to really stay in that curiosity and ask yourself, what meaning am I assigning to this? What story am I fabricating in my mind? And let me be more intentional about what I make it mean. Because most often when somebody says something to you, all they're doing is projecting their own fears and doubts onto you, and it's got nothing to do with you. And like I said, you don't have to own it, you don't have to wear it. It's okay to decide that I'm going to choose to stay right here, right now, in this moment, and right now everything is okay. And then I'll deal with the next thing when it comes. We don't have to have all the answers right now, because we're not going to have the answers. So that's just going to cause you to be in resistance. So be where you're at right here and right now. And that is all I wanted to say for today. So I am going to have a complimentary tapping session if anybody's interested in learning how to tap, whether you've tapped before, the emotional freedom technique, or not. I'm going to be doing a tapping session. We're going to all tap together on reducing this fear and anxiety, so we can get a little bit of space from it, we can free it up a little bit, and we can get to a place of peace where you could breathe for just a little bit. And it's amazing when that happens, ideas just come into your mind, and other opportunities and avenues present themselves that weren't there before when you were caught up in fear. So if you're interested, I'm going to let me know, put some I'm interested or yes in the comments, and I will send you the Zoom link. We're going to meet via Zoom today. What is today? Thursday at 5 o'clock, at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to do some tapping together so we can have a little bit of relief from this overwhelm and fear, and we can start calming down those emotions. So again, if you're interested, type yes or I'm in the comments, and I will send you the Zoom link. Have a fabulous rest of your Thursday, everybody, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.